There is nothing empowering about openly giving your body away time after time and after time. That is not what sex should be used for. When you love and honor and respect yourself and you focus that and you put your energy inward, it will always be reflected back to you. And so your whole job as a woman, if you're single right now and you're like looking for a partner and all the things, it's like, you don't need to be seeking or looking. That is not your job. Like, you need to master sex. You need to master that, like, you're in control of that. You don't just let your body do it. It's like, no. You're in control of when, who, if it happens. I really feel to call in a sacred divine union that's like blessed by God, there's going to be a season of solitude. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. If you have not been here before, thank you so much for joining and being here. If you didn't already kind of know the things that we speak about on this podcast, sometimes it's fully business, and sometimes it's about parenting, and sometimes it's motherhood, and sometimes it's relationships, and sometimes it's personal growth. And so I really kind of talk about all areas and aspects of my life, depending on kind of what I'm feeling in the moment and what I feel like needs to be talked about, needs to be said. And I really go led on almost like heart-led intuition most of the time. It could be something that I'm feeling interested in, something I'm feeling pulled to, something I'm moving through myself. And this week, I wanted to talk about something that I haven't really spoken about before, which is being over a year. I don't even know if I like this word, but celibate is the easiest way to explain it. It's been over a year that I have been celibate, and I wanted to talk a little bit about sex and singlehood and not sleeping with people and keeping my body for me, and some of those things that I have, just some of the things that I've learned or discovered about myself in this process. And what made me want to talk about this, hold on, I was just looking. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, good. What made me want to speak about this was I was just listening to a podcast right before this, and I can link it below, but it mentioned the word celibate, and I was like, dang, wait, I've been wanting to talk about this and I haven't talked about it yet. And I remember when I was first going through my separation and navigating the idea of the separation, right? Of like, am I really going to do this? And what's it going to mean? And like, who am I going to end up with or find or whatever. And I remember really feeling like I didn't really have, well, if you guys know my story at all, like I had a really strong pull, like an animalistic need, you could almost call it, to go sleep with somebody. I could feel it. It was like something that like needed to happen. I can't explain it any other way. It was like a full body, like I had to do it. For my best interest, no. Like, was it? But here's the thing, for my best interest, let's just talk about that for a second. Sometimes I think we're going to do things that maybe aren't necessarily like the best experience or the best thing for us, but it's necessary for our highest good of evolution. Okay. And so this is something I really, truly, strongly believe in, that even the hardships, even the not so great moments, even the pain, even just anything that's challenging, I really believe those things are there to build our grit, our resilience, our understanding. Like, I don't know, an experience, like something happened recently where I could just see in the person that I was like, yeah, this person's lived a very comfortable and entitled life. And so because of that, like the most tiniest things you can see create such a reaction. And I'm like, when you go through hard stuff and life stuff, like it just shapes you and molds you to be able to move through so much more. Like your capacity is so much larger for what life has to throw at you. And so I really believe that even though maybe that wasn't the best thing for me, I can't explain it any other way than like it needed to happen. And I needed to experience that thing to go on a different journey of growth and evolution. And honestly, had I not experienced that, maybe I wouldn't have stayed celibate this whole year. So it's like, you know, you can just see how everything leads to the next thing. And I think I needed to go through that in order to get me to this place where it was like, whoa, my body is so sacred and deserves to be so protected and cared for. I am unwilling to just let anybody use me or touch me ever again, if that makes sense. And so anyways, that experience happened like close after my separation. I think it was almost like a rebellion part of me that was like, I just need to go do this thing and like get it out of the way and whatever. So I experienced that. And in that, I had so much stuff show up. And then from there, I almost went another year celibate. It wasn't a full year. And then I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I'm really just giving you guys all the deets on my sex life now. But I was like, after this, I was at a relationship intensive all weekend, and then I had a mushroom ceremony, and I came out of it, and it was like I had this whole part of my ceremony being like, no, you deserve to be free, and like don't put rules on yourself and regulations on yourself and like feel like you have to fit into this box, like follow your heart and go where you're guided to and blah, 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 blah. And in that, I was like, no, I like in an empowered choosing wanted to sleep with this guy. And so I did. And what's really cool about this, I think, is that it was not from I think if I'm really honest, a lot of the times when I would sleep with people in the past, like I did it before I was ready. I did it because it was what I thought I should do. I did it because I thought that's what you're supposed to do in relationship. I did it because I thought they were expecting it of me. And so like I should give them that because isn't that what we do? It wasn't coming from a true me informed decision, if that makes sense. Where this last time, it was truly like a fully embodied, empowered yes of like, I want to do this. I want this experience. Like, I want this. And it wasn't for him at all. It was fully 1000% for me. And so I think I needed that. And it like unlocked something totally different in me. I can't remember if I talked about this experience or not, but it was like the most wildly insane experience. And he knew it too. But it was like so powerful. And the only way I can describe it is like, I was so free after going through and open. Okay. Like I came off a relationship intensive, a mushroom ceremony. Like my heart is wide open. I am feeling free. I am feeling embodied. I was like a goddess. Like I could feel the embodiment within me. And so that experience was so beautiful, like incredible, amazing, beautiful, whatever. Anyways, since that time, well, there was some times after, same person, whatever. But since that experience, I haven't engaged in anything with anybody else. And so over this it's like a year and a bit now, I've thought about this a lot because I obviously hear it in conversation, and there's so much out there about like women empowerment in sleeping with people. And I think it all comes down to intention and energy behind it. Because for me personally, I'm like, there is nothing empowering about openly giving your body away time after time and after time, like just for quick connection or quick pleasure or anything like that. I'm like, that's not it. That is not what sex should be used for. If you want quick pleasure, like find something else. But I truly believe sex is sacred energy exchange. Like you are exchanging energy in the most intimate and divine way. And I truly also believe that like having sex is something that can literally be a portal to like connect you to God and is way deeper than like what we have been made to believe. And so for me now in this year of not engaging, it's like, have I wanted to? Yeah. Every month during ovulation, I'm like, everyone in the gym becomes a prospect. I'm like, it's so real. But at the same time, I'm like, and I think I did talk about this other episode. I don't know. But I was like, until someone shows me that my heart is like safe with them and guarded and protected and there's mutual intentionality, I just don't see the point in engaging in it with anybody else. Does this make sense? So in that, some of the things that I feel like I've learned, like obviously hearing other single women talk and other people's opinions and judgments and whatever, I feel like there's such a feeling of like when you are single, it's like go be free and be wild and like sleep around and get that experience and all of that. And like that could be someone else's journey and that's great. And I navigated like that internally in my mind too of like, wait, should I be engaging in that? Should I just go be more free and like go sleep with people and go do whatever? Because eventually I'm going to be with my person for life. And like, is it going to be something that I thought, felt like I missed out on and like should go engage in and blah, blah, blah. And for me, it's really just been a no. It's like, I feel like it's worth holding out for the right person or opportunity. But in saying that, I noticed myself creating rules like, oh, if it's not my future husband, I'm not going to do it. Or if it's not my forever person, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, okay, hold on. That could be something that I aspire to have, but I'm also not going to put like firm rules around what I am and am not willing to do, mostly because I don't believe in right or wrong, good or bad, one way or the other, or like, if I go engage in this, I'm never going to meet my person. Like, no, every single experience is intentionally there to guide you to your life's path, regardless of what's happening. At least that's what I believe. And so I feel like you can never mess up. Like, could you do something that really hurt someone? And could you do something that's like a mistake? I guess, but it's like, is it ever a mistake, or did you need to do that thing to learn from it? And I just really believe that like every single thing that happens in your life is there to guide you and help teach you and help you learn and whatever. So anyways, I really just wanted to come on and talk about this concept and let whatever wanted to flow through me. But when it comes to like something that I feel I've really noticed and learned is like, there's sometimes where I think people, how can I say this? Like almost want it out of, this is what I can say I've moved through. I think I used to almost feel sex was a connection point. So it was like, if we have sex, then we'll feel connected. If we have sex, then we'll feel closer. It's a place of connection and closeness. And I used to think like, well, if we just did that, we could be closer. And I think it was out of it wasn't the true reason that I feel like we should be having sex, if that makes sense. And I think in the future, and this is part of the reason I've been not engaging in anything with anybody over the last year, was like the intentionality behind it. And for me, I really feel like it's sacred. And in my last experience, after I was like, no, I was so attuned to feel like when they weren't present, or when it felt more like a taking of energy or using, rather than so present and connected together. And it really helped show me like, dang, like I have had sex so much in my life, even in my marriage or previous relationships, where I was fully just like, here, take my body, use it. And I know women can relate to that, where it was not like the sacred thing that it should be. And I feel like what happens on the other side of that, whether men talk about this or not, there's no way, because I really believe we're all souls meant to just like experience love on this planet together. Men too. Men are the same. Men have the same spectrum of emotions. We say that we're so different. We're really not. They're softy, sensitive babies too, that just have armor, and it shows in different ways. And so whatever. But it's like, I really feel like there's no way you both don't feel empty after that. And whether they know that that's why they're feeling empty or feeling detached or feeling like weird or not, it's like, this should bring you closer. And I know people talk about this, and men's experts talk about this too, of like semen retention. And if you end up ejaculating, like they want space from you and freedom from you. And so like a lot of women want sex for closeness, but it actually does the opposite. The men want to pull away. And so it talks about how like men shouldn't be ejaculating every time, and like don't let them if you want them to be crazy about you and blah, 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 blah. But what I really feel is like, no, I think we both crave the closeness and connection from something like that. But ultimately, if we're doing it for the wrong reasons or intentions or not fully present, like both people feel detached and weird. And then nobody talks about it. So it's like, let's say for the guy, has sex, knows he's going to like do it to take from you and get energy from you, basically use your body. And then after, it creates disconnect rather than like what it's meant to do, which is connect two people. And so I've just really like had a lot of time, obviously, to reflect on like all of my experiences previously versus now and whatever. And just to really feel like, wow, the next time I engage in this, like I'm going to listen to my body. And I think that's ultimately what this really comes down to, is like learning to truly honor, love, and respect yourself and your own body. And this is something that I don't know, without this time away from it, I would have really understood. Does this make sense? So it's like, if you really think about all your experiences, because for me, it's like, if I was married forever, you just do it. It's just something you do. You're in a relationship. You just have sex because that's what you do and you have to. Where it's like, now having this time apart, I'm like, whoa, no, this should be an act that's like so intentionally engaged in by two very present people, even if it is like casual. But it's like, it's not a casual thing. I just don't believe you can have casual sex. Like, did I really know the guy when I slept with him that time? No. But like, our eyes, I could see his soul. And like, I can't explain it any other way than like, I knew, like, my heart knew him in a crazy way that it felt safe. And so like, that is so different than like just doing it because it's like what seems like it should happen because you started kissing. So it was like just the next thing. And you're just like going with the flow. It was a very intentional choice and decision, regardless if we were meant to like be in a relationship for life, you know? Does this making sense? So I'm like, I just really want to even say, like, even for you, if you're married, like, I know this can happen. Like, women have rape trauma in their bodies from their marriage, from the person that they're with, from their long-term partner. You can not want to engage in it. You can be not connected, not present, not want to do it, but you're doing the act anyway. That is not how sex should be. It should be so like attuned to each other. And so I think in this last year, I've really just learned in the space of being with myself. First of all, the ayahuasca journey, understanding pussy power, was crazy for me to understand, like, whoa, we're living with like this portal of creation in our bodies, and we need to honor that and protect that. And this is where like masculine and feminine dynamics really come in, of like creating that wholeness within you. Because if you're healed and you're like healthy masculine, and I almost hate these terms now because it's created such a divide of like, am I feminine or am I masculine, and how am I acting? But it's like, no, in that, it's like there's qualities of both. And so if you're healthy, healed masculine, what do? You provide, you protect, you offer security, you're like grounded, you're present, like all of these things. But like, are you that with yourself? And in this last year, I've been like, dang, I am that within myself. I do know how to like check in with my own heart and check in with my softness and my vulnerabilities and my fragilities, if that's even a word, of like how I feel and how my heart feels and how this makes me feel and how my body feels around this person or this energy, or like all of it. And I've learned how to honor, respect, and protect myself. And like part of that pussy power and really understanding it is like, you don't have leaky energy where like anyone gets access to you. No, you should be like protecting yourself of like a fortress that you're, and not in a like, oh, I'm guarded and protected, don't come close to me. But like, I almost envision it as like this beautiful white light that's like, I have this bubble of armor around me that like no one can come in that's gonna harm me now. Does that make sense? Like, there's no way for them to get access to me. So I just feel this like deep divine protection and not engaging in anything. Because here's the thing, when you just have sex with people casually or whatever, women don't, you can't do that. We get attached, we get connected, we get attached. I'm still freaking attached to this guy from a year ago. Like, and I'm like detached, but at the same time, like the cord is there, you know, like we're definitely still connected because of it. And who knows if that's meant for a reason or if it's meant to go away. I've done cord cutting and it's like, now that tie is meant to still be there right now. But it's like, we can't just casually engage. And so if anything, I've learned over the last year, wow, this was my time to really like tune into my body and understand the power it holds to not freely like and loosely give that to anybody, because most people don't deserve it. Like, I think of myself now where I'm like, no, you are such a, like, I was actually at the gym today and I was like, you know, you do like, what's it called? The rag doll, and you're like holding your arms. And I was hanging over and I was like, dang, like you're so sacred and special and like amazing. And I could feel it. Like, it made me just want to like hug myself. And honestly, even like a couple days ago, I've been through it emotionally this last week. My uncle passed and all these things I'm not going to talk about because I'm going to cry. But something else happened. Oh yeah, the night that I had like a big breakdown. I was crying for like 2 hours. And it was that, but then it was also like the feeling of him passing and then me also not having a husband, where I was like, but I want one, and I want a man that I can lean on and like rely on and all these things, right? And I was sitting there and I was like holding myself, and it was the first time that I think I've ever felt so like I could, this is so like almost embarrassing to talk about, but I literally don't care. I'll tell you guys. I was kissing my own arms, like caressing myself and being so gentle to myself that I was like, oh, this is like a new level of self-love. Like being able to hold yourself through the pain, love on yourself, see yourself as this like gentle, amazing, deserving creature that deserves to be loved and guarded and protected. And I was just like, it's so crazy because it's like I had to get this to really see it in myself and know, sorry, I'm hiccuping, know that version of me before obviously another could recognize it. And I think in the past, it was like I was hoping, why can't someone just like see that part of me and see this part of me? And like there was little pieces of that. And in that moment, I went, oh, this whole time you just had to see yourself first and like know this within you. And in that whole process, it's like I really truly have learned to protect myself and not give my energy away freely to people and be really mindful about who gets access to me based on feeling. And I think what happens when you don't engage in sex with random people and do all the things, it's like you hone in so clearly in your own energy field. I don't have all these crazy weird attachments of all their shit and nasty on me. It's like, no, keep that shit to yourself. All I have is me. And so in that, I'm like, whoa, I can't even explain it to you how like potent and powerful I'll call it psychic abilities. Like my intuition, the feeling of being psychic, telepathic, all these things, I am getting so powerful. I feel it internally. And like, if you guys have watched me over the last few years, like you probably feel it and see it too, where it's like that whole feminine magnetism that they talk about, that like when you love and honor and respect yourself, it's like, and you focus that and you put your energy inward, it will always be reflected back to you. And so your whole job as a woman, if you're single right now and you're like looking for a partner and all the things, it's like, you don't need to be seeking or looking. That is not your job. What you do is you get so dialed in internally with your own energy, with your own connection, with your own devotion to a higher power. Like I pray all the time. I connect with God all the time. I sit and talk to him at night, him, her, goddess, whatever. Like I feel this deep divine connection that like, that's where I go at night. It's not some random dude. It's like, no, that connection is within me. And by like bringing all my energy back to myself and really connecting to that, I'm becoming so freaking powerful. And so it's like, of course, in that state, I'm going to attract and call in, not even call in. It's like you almost magnetize them toward you. Such a powerful equal counterpart that is like meant for both of us for our like highest level of soul's evolution. And so I just really feel it's like if you're constantly looking and seeking and like craving connection and like, obviously I would love to, I cannot wait until there's a person in my life that I get to like share all this energy with. But it's like in that year of not engaging with anyone else, it's like I feel so connected to my own sexuality, to like my own body. And in a way, it's like that freedom that I feel. I think when we're thinking about like sex with people that we don't feel wildly connected to, it's a performance versus like 100% being present in your body of what like your body's saying. And so it's almost an art, I would say, to go on this journey of like really understanding yourself, your own body, your own energy, your own power, without another blurring it almost. Because it's like if you're constantly just sleeping with people, it's like you're engaging with all these different energies, all these different people. all their different wants, desires, whatever, versus like, what is yours? And I've gotten so crystal clear on it that I'm like, I literally feel so wildly powerful sometimes that I'm like, and not in like power, like dominance way. No, powerful in myself, where I'm like, whoa, girl, you got like everything you need within you. This whole journey, and I was listening, it was a Sahara Rose podcast, and she was talking about like the whole journey to like this love story. It's like it's actually within you. And I'm like, I get it. And I know I've talked about this before, but like as I go deeper and deeper on this journey, I feel more and more connected to myself, that every time I'm like, when I have these big aha moments, I'm like, thank God this like person didn't come into my life yet, or this partner wasn't here yet, or I wasn't in this relationship yet. And even though I want it, it's a desire, I know it's in my future, I know that. It's like I had to find this wholeness. And it's so wild because like 6 months ago, a year ago, I was like, but I am whole, but I am complete, but I do all this stuff and I've done all the healing and it's like, it is like a deep soul resonance that you feel when you actually feel whole and complete. Because there's nothing in me right now that's like looking and waiting or like seeking external validation to try to get love or attention or any of it. Literally none of it. And it feels so peaceful. Like I have this level of peace that I'm just like, I am so good with how things are and the way things are. And I have this like deep faith and trust in this next person that's like supposed to come into my life. And so to bring it back to the celibacy thing, I think what it's allowed me to really learn and what it's taught me over this last year is you're good on your own. You really don't need anyone else. And not out of a like, oh, I don't need anyone. Out of like, you can provide all these feelings that you've been looking for, like the pleasure or the connection or any of it. It's like, you've got that within you. Everything that you thought you needed another for, you've got that within you. And I think that's like one of the most magical things ever, because if you're in a relationship or partnership, and I was like, since I was 14, I've literally been in relationships since I was 14. That's like over half my life. So I never had to go without sleeping with someone. And then you think of how many times you end up just having sex. It's like, oh, I was stressed. Oh, I like just needed connection. Oh, he was just beside me. So like we just did, because it's like, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't sacred. It wasn't respected and like valued in the way that it deserves. And so having a year without it, all I can explain is like a year without partnership, a year more than that, 2 years without partnership, over a year without, engaging with anyone like that, not having someone to like cuddle and do all these things. It's like, I've learned to hold myself. I've learned to nurture myself. I've learned to give compassion to myself. I've learned to cater to my own needs, to really listen to what I needed instead of like escaping into another. And like, that is wildly powerful. That's something that you can't get in partnership. And like, partnership is beautiful, and it's so mandatory to like evolve and grow. And I really feel like I'm coming up to that point where I'm like, I'd be surprised how much more I could learn, but I'm open to all things. So it's like, if it's meant to be even longer and I have other things to learn within myself, awesome. But I really do feel like there comes to a certain point where you need that relationship piece to really teach you and guide you and like bring you to that next level of expansion within yourself. And I know that when it's here, I'm going to be just so, how do I explain this? So much more grateful than I think I ever could have had I not had this season of solitude. Like, this season of solitude was so necessary for me to really also, I feel, get in a place of like not only devotion of self, but like how much I am, that song, like that Destiny's Child song, I think it's Destiny's Child, Cater to You. Like all these songs that I listen to that are about like devotion and like honoring the man. And I'm like, I can't wait for that season of my life where in the past, even though I knew I wanted it, it's like, I think we can take it for granted. Like how magical a partnership is, how magical love is, how magical and divine even having sex is. And so it's like, if anything, it's just like brought this really deep awareness within me of like, I can't wait for the experience of that. And like, I have already have so much gratitude for this experience and like this relationship and when it comes. Like I'm so excited for it. And I just trust so much that like it's going to come when it's meant to and when he's ready and I'm ready and all the things. So anyways, how can I end this? I really just came on to a little rant and ramble about this experience. And if you are still kind of giving like leaky sexual energy in the sense that like you crave men to lust after you, you intentionally like give out sexual energy where it shouldn't be freely given. Like this should be something that's within you that you're really mindful of, that you don't just give this to anybody, that you're intentional with who gets to experience that part of you. The best advice, it's like go on a journey where you keep that within you as like something so special that when the next person that you choose to engage in that with, you're so mindful and like it's a mindful choice. It's not just something that you fall into like, oh my God, we were kissing. Like it just one thing led to another. Like, no, it needs to be like you're intentionally choosing it if and when you choose it out of, again, like owning your power as a woman to do what feels best to you and not out of like a feeling you need. And you know what that feels like. If you sleep with someone, then you right after it's like, whoa, wait, like I don't like the way this feels. I feel like I was craving closeness and I didn't actually bring me connection. Like, you know, that feeling. And so I would just say, trust that there's like, I really feel to call in a sacred divine union that's like blessed by God. There's going to be a season of solitude. There's going to be a season where you need to abstain from just sleeping around. Like that's so leaky. Do you really think like, throw it this way. So if a guy was sleeping with all these people, not that you're sleeping with all these people, but if he was like sleeping around and whatever, it's like, he's so much less desirable. And it's not about like, ew, you're a skank or any of those things. No, it's just like, you can feel that their energy is like all everywhere. You want to know that their energy is so locked into themselves that you can like feel this magnetism of like wholeness and power within them. And that's something that like we all need to master. Our sexual energy, like Danny talks about this all the time, Danny Morrell, who talks about 3 energies of human mastery: health, body, sex and relationships, and then money, business, right? And so it's like, if you can't literally control your sexual needs of like thinking that it needs to be always with another or like throwing that on other people, you're I don't know, I just feel like you're out of control in a way, right? It's like you need to, that's something that we all as humans crave, need, desire. Can you like maintain it and do it within yourself? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? I feel like the message I wanted to get across here was not as clear as I was hoping. And hopefully this had some level of value for you guys. But I really believe it's like the same way you need to get a hold of your health, hold of your food habits, you know, like prioritize your wellness. The same way you need to get your money right and your business right and your career right. You also need to get your relationships right, which can be like, you need to master sex. You need to master that, like you're in control of that. You don't just let your body do it. It's like, no. You're in control of when, who, if it happens. Yeah. And it just like teaches you so much. It honestly has taught me so much. So I guess to close this out, this 30 minutes of rambling that I don't even know what I said, really just bringing it back to a season of sacred union within yourself, where you're not giving that energy to anybody else, is so key to your growth and development, especially if you're going through a single season. You need that season of solitude and like really calling it in to give it all to yourself. Like learn to nurture and love and care for you. And I feel like I'm finally at that place where I know what that looks like without self-abandoning for others or putting others' needs above my own. At the same time, I can't wait to be in like devotion with another and be able to give all of that love that I know I have to give to somebody else. Because I think that's like the beauty of life. There's only so much you can do to like pour into you and pour into you and pour into you before it's like, no, we're meant to be in service to other people. We're meant to give love to others. And so, yeah, I think there's a healthy balance of like, yes, for a season, maybe it's about you, but then eventually it needs to be about like pouring that back into others. So I don't know if this was helpful, But if you've been considering really getting intentional with who you share your energy with, let this be your sign to do it. I used to think like, how could I ever go like a month or 6 months? Or now I'm like a year, and I'm like, whatever. Like whenever I finally meet someone that feels worth engaging with, I will. But until then, I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm good. And it also reminded me like, you think you need other people to fulfill your needs, but like there's so much you can fulfill within yourself first. And yeah, it's just wild because I'm like, in the Bible and like back in, we're like teens and it's like, don't have sex till marriage. It's like this rule where it's like, if they would have just taught us better about the energy that we feel and the exchange of energy and how it's meant to be sacred and intentional and like, not just because you kind of feel horny for a second, it's like, it would make so much more sense. I may have actually valued that. Like, don't have sex till marriage. I might have valued it. Where now it's like, I get the concept and the principle so deeply, but it was never explained that way. It was just like, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm not about the can'ts and can'ts. It's like, do as you wish, but from a very mindful, intentional place of choosing, not just like an ego fulfillment, Anyways, okay. Thanks for coming to listen. And I will see you guys in the next episode. If this was helpful, if you have someone that you feel could benefit from listening to an episode about like considering celibacy and considering pulling that energy back into themselves and like going into devotion with themselves, and instead of wasting energy on some guy, it's like, you do journaling and you carpool and you pray and you meditate and you do yoga at night and you do different things to fill up that energy. You use your own sexual energy to manifest the things that you're wanting. Yeah. Share this with them because maybe there was something of value. But keep you posted on my journey, since I'm just an open book that tells you every single detail of my whole entire life. And we will see you in the next episode. But if it's helpful, please share. I love when you guys share the podcast. I love when you tag me. It just like warms my heart to know that these episodes can help you. And this was something random. And it's always these episodes that I'm like, I don't even know what I said and why I just said that like some people must be like, that was for me. I needed that. And so sometimes I just let it like a transmission flow through without even thinking about what I'm saying. And sometimes those hit you the hardest, but then I always go, what the F did just came out of my mouth? And I don't even know if it was valuable. So see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here. I love you guys so much.